Hey everybody, this is Workforce Gaming. I'm Doug, along with Brad,
Hey, everybody.
and we are doing our sort of game of the year.
How's this sort of?
Well, it's sort of because we so because me and Brad we have like vastly different tastes in games. Well, not vastly. We have very different on certain genres and stuff, different tastes in games. So we thought it made more sense to do Brad to do his top five, me to do my top five, and then try to do some sort of like semblance of a joint one. So this is probably gonna be the first of probably three videos where
The three-part
a
series.
three-part series. Like all those other popular YouTube ones that only do one because they know people don't stick around for till the third.
Yeah, so get excited.
Yeah. So like this is basically going to be just a Brad episode, and it's going to be me. The thing that's fun about this is because we actually don't have to agree, so I could just chastise you if you if I want.
Yeah, pretty much. And what's really fun is that like I know for a fact that like looking at my list of my top 5 games, which we don't share with each other because that makes it way more fun.
Yeah.
I guarantee that at least 3 of these are not probably at least 3 of these don't even make it into your top 10.
Oh. See you say that sometimes, but I really
maybe
like
not.
Doom and
2
I
of them
really
for
like
sure.
Titanfall, so
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
yeah. So okay, I guess sort of to kick this off, Brad is going to do his top 5.
And I guess as a precursor as well, we should point out we obviously have not played every game that came out this year. There's a couple that may or may not be up here. Like in my mind, I'm thinking of like Dishonored 2, which I haven't got around to, and Final Fantasy 15, which I haven't got to. That obviously could end up here eventually, but at the moment, based on what I've played this year.
Yeah, you know what's fun? Yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy 15 is probably the biggest omission because I haven't played that either. I put 10 hours in those dumb demos, so I mean, I still didn't buy the game. Sorry, that's an
Doug's
aside.
top 5 of the year. Number 1, the Platinum demo. Number 2, the Japanese store only demo.
Actually, number 1 would be the Dust Guy demo, but that came out in 2014 or 15,
Damn.
so I can't put that one on. That was a good demo. Anyway.
Anyway.
So, Brad, of the games you played this year, we're not going to put a whole list of games we played this year. If you want to sit there and complain about the game that we're missing, that's fine. Just tell us, and then we'll say we played it or we did or didn't. Because some games we did actually play, we just didn't review. Yeah, like I played Thumper, but we're not going to be talking about that. So anyway, Brad, top 5, number 5. What do you got?
That was really dramatic.
I don't know how to do this.
Yeah. Number 5 for me this year is Gears of War 4. Yeah. What?
Nothing. No, it's a
What?
good game. It's a good game. I got nothing.
Bullshit. I know what that reaction means. That's really dumbass.
No, actually, no. I will say I am surprised. I guess before you go on your spiel, I'm surprised that this isn't higher because I know you freaking love Gears. I think
I
in
do.
Halo and stuff like that. So I'm surprised this didn't come out as your number 1. I guess is actually more surprising than it being number 5.
Oh, well, there you go. So anyway, Gears 4, great game. I think it just reaffirms what the original trilogy did of just going, you know what? This is the best third-person shooter out there.
Mm-hmm.
The way this works, the way the gameplay goes. Yes, it is the same formula as you've had before, but it reinforces the fact that this is some of the most fun you can have playing a shooter. It's over the top. It's crazy. There's giant monsters. Like things are always falling down around you. Just the huge set pieces. And the last level, which just takes everything up to like 11, which I don't really want to spoil because the game's still relatively new, but it's awesome. It's fun. It's great. And it's one of those things where it's like, this is one of those games that I was like, yep, I need to buy an Xbox One to play Gears 4.
Yeah, is there a reason that it's not like number 2 or number 1 or something like that? Like what made you drop? I'm actually more interested. Like, why is this number 5? Was it just it didn't do enough, or is it? It's a great game, but
I think to me it's just the story falls fairly flat, and it's not super original in what it's doing. A lot of it is just, yep, we did another Gears game, and it's great and it's fun, but just the story falls flat. The new characters, other than the main guy that you play as, I couldn't even tell you their names. Like it's just that element of, yeah, the story's it's happening, but look at that giant explosion over there. You know what I mean? And we've talked about this a couple times before, where a big part of video games to me is I love getting engrossed in that story, and I love figuring out the story, and I love having all that stuff going on around it.
Okay, no, that's interesting. So yeah, it's still a good game, but so like if they fix that in Gears 6, 5, 5.
5, yep. It's just 5 comes after 4.
Yeah. I mean, if they fix that, like, are you just as excited though for Gears 6 now?
Oh,
Or
absolutely. Oh. Numbers. Absolutely. Like, to me, it's again, it's all about gameplay for this game, and this I love the gameplay. I love the way this game works. It's one of those that if you add up the hours over the course of the series, I've put hundreds upon hundreds of hours into this series. So it's just something that it's familiar, it's fun, it's there. I loved it. Didn't do anything super great though.
Number four.
I
This,
really should just start taking over the numbers for you because apparently you can't handle counting today.
to be fair, me screwing up the Gears numbering is not. That's actually being more correct, I feel. And saying that might be Gears 5.
I mean, if you count Judgment, which I mean, you could count Judgment, but
Yeah. No.
yeah. So my fourth best game is Doom, which
Okay.
I went really heavy on shooters this year, and Doom, just like the tone of that game and the feel of that game is one of the best things ever.
Mhm.
Just the way that game opens with you get off a table and you just start shooting shit. You get your big fancy space shoot, and then you just smash a box. There's big guitar riff and the word Doom on the screen. It's so perfect the way that intro happens, and it just tosses you into it. And it's one of those games that as you're playing, it's at 11 the whole time.
Mhm.
Like there is no slowdown, and it's just constantly like craziness after craziness after craziness the whole way through.
Yeah, I love Doom this year. I was actually a little disappointed because I played a little bit earlier than you, so we actually didn't do the Doom review together. But I was so happy you finally got around to playing that one. I really love.
So good.
I love you were spot on about the tone, because the thing I really appreciate about the new Doom is that they make you seem like an utter badass, and like more so
Oh,
than
the
any
whole
game I've
time
ever
through.
played before.
Yeah, and it's the whole time through too. It's not just like, oh yeah, that last level you went crazy and everything was crazy awesome. It's like, nope, you just like wake up and you're like, all right, guess I'm gonna kill a bunch of stuff right now.
Hmm. Yeah, and I just
And
I like the tome. What's the tome? The tome of whatever.
what?
The narrator thing that you meet every once in a while that tells you how awesome you are and like how all the demons fear you. And
Oh yeah, the runes or whatever I think they were called.
I don't know. I love that, and I think they even showed Doom. Like Doom is messed up because of you. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember the character's name, but like the NPC that's always talking to you through the whole game. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
the president.
But even him, he's like, yeah. Even him, he's like, oh yeah, I know your affinity for guns. Like, oh yeah, just so you know, when you get there, you can use your guns. He's like constantly telling, like, just go kill everything. Like, I know that's what you want to do.
oh yeah, yeah. He's like almost like disappointed. Like he's like, it doesn't matter what I tell you. You're just gonna kill everything.
Yep, exactly. And it's like, yep, that's exactly what I'm about to go do. So good call.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that game absolutely. That's like one of the few games I played where like every way, shape, and form knows exactly what it is. So yeah, that's gonna be on my top 5 for sure. Maybe.
Yay, we agreed on one almost.
Almost. So I guess we're now on to number 3. Number 3.
Yes. Number 3 is Ratchet and Clank.
You know what? I totally forgot this game came out this year, and I saw it sitting on my desk. I was like, wait, oh shit, yeah, okay, yeah, go. I'm so happy this is so high on the list.
So I completely missed Ratchet and Clank like up until 6 months ago, and this is like the first time I ever bothered touching one of these, and I think that amplified what this was, because it was, for all whatever your feelings about Ratchet and Clank are, it's just an amazing platformer. But I think it's an amazing platformer, and it's something that I never experienced before. So a lot of people, this game was like that nostalgia trip, like, oh man, I remember this, and this was so much fun the first time. This was like, oh my gosh, this is cool. Like, what the hell was I doing the past 10 years?
Yeah, no, I can imagine, because you basically just saw like 10 years of gameplay improvements, and then a completely reintroduction to the series. So like you weren't lost.
Yeah, no, exactly. It was like, oh, Ratchet and Clank came out, I guess I'll try that. Oh, it's right at the beginning too. This is perfect. And it's fun. Like, that game is so much fun. Like, it's just one of those games where it's like, just, it's fun. It's happy. Everything's great. You're just running around having a good time.
Yeah, that is an oddly good time game for like the amount of shooting you do in it. It's not like it's a kid's shooter, which is a weird thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's so good. It's so much fun. It's so colorful. It's gorgeous. I think when you did your review, you talked about, this is when games start to look like Pixar movies, and just seeing the movie and playing the game, it's just the comparison there is almost exact. They're almost identical, and it's so cool to see games, even graphically, which I normally don't put a lot of stock in, but graphically get to that level. And it was just so impressive visually that, I mean, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting too, like how good it looked graphically while still having very skill-based gameplay. Like that doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just okay, this is pretty for pretty's sake. It's pretty and it's fun and it's got mechanics and it's one of those total package games.
God, I'm so glad this is on your list. I totally spaced on this game until like just a few minutes ago. Like just
Yeah,
before we
because
record this, yeah.
yeah, because we were doing mine because you didn't bother to actually do it. So
I'm still trying to figure out if I like The Last Guardian.
the answer is maybe.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm so happy that's your number 3. I don't care what number 2 is. I'm just kidding. So,
You don't
so
care
your
about the
number.
rest. Screw the rest. Nobody cares.
I think I know what. I actually don't know what your number 2. Well, I actually don't know. What is your number 2?
Number 2 is Titanfall 2.
Oh, okay. All right. That's also a good one. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So Titanfall 2 again just is a game that fits me perfectly. I love the setting. I love all the weird sci-fi stuff, and without getting into spoilers, there's the one level in particular where you can kind of go back and forth. I guess I'll leave it there because I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but like that level and just the platforming in this as well, just the running back and forth and the movement you feel in this game is unlike any game I've ever played before. There is no other game that nails you're just this crazy quick agile, like jumping on things, wall running. There's no other game that really nails this as well as Titanfall 2 does, and it completely gives the first person shooter a different feel because of how quick you're moving, and because okay, I can use my grappling hook, I can jump onto that building, wall run off this building, and then jump on top of this giant robot and blow it up. It's one of those games where nothing feels mundane. A lot of things that you just do on a normal basis feel like set piece moments.
Oh yeah, like especially in multiplayer stuff. Like you do stuff in multiplayer like you definitely could not do in any multiplayer game before this. Like it's insane. Like just like the moment you just described, you're like hopping around, like circle around a building and jump on top of a Titan, then blow up the Titan, then jump off and then kill a pilot. Like that'll happen. Like that can just happen in a normal multiplayer match. Like and then when they do that like in single player, it's also very cool because they make it more significant because a little bit of story weight or a little bit of setting or something like that.
Yeah. And just the craziness that some of those final levels get to when stuff starts going to shit and you're jumping from spaceship to or plane or spaceship, I don't remember what they were, from thing to thing, and just there's so much cool stuff that happens in that game, and it feels like one big set piece moment a lot of times, especially like you said in multiplayer where just there's constantly stuff happening. You never get that like, oh, I'm just gonna kind of sit around the corner here and wait. It's always like, no, we need to be moving, like we're gonna run around, let's do something.
Well, yeah, I really love that that campaign as well. Besides the fact they do a bunch of crazy stuff, is they don't do a lot of crazy stuff right off the bat. That is a well-paced game. Like it starts with you saying, "Man, the pilots are so cool. I wish I could be that one day." And then by the end, you are that. Like I really like that how they make the pilots seem like this badass, almost thing that you could never attain. And then by the end, you are that person. But you really aren't that for like the first couple hours of the game, until you start getting good. Yeah.
It really gives you that feeling of, oh, I'm just a grunt. Like, I'm just a grunt in the army for the first couple levels, and then at some point, maybe I'll do something to get a Titan, but it's like, no, like, that's what it is. And then, obviously some weird circumstances in the plot puts you to the point where, okay, now I can slowly start to build this up. And you always got to love a game where you've got a good friendship with a robot. That's always fun. I really love the robot friend, because just the way that he interacts with the characters, it's that, like, perfect, like, human robot interaction that you see in some different sci-fi movies that are just awesome.
Yeah, and I felt like because I'm a big Half-Life fan, I felt like it was like that dog relation, like dog and Half-Life 2. Like take it like 10 years later. Like that is what that is where we're at now. I really like that. Yeah, Titanfall 2 is freaking awesome. I think the game is just like
great.
just well made across the board. I wouldn't say it's like it to me it wasn't like it was I don't know if it was groundbreaking. To me there's nothing to make it like the best game of all time, but that's just like in every way, shape, and form that's just a well made game.
It's like Ratchet and Clank in my mind, where I'm sitting here going, you know what? There's very little I could look at that game and point out and go, that's average. Everything is good or great. There's nothing I can look at and go, that was kind of okay. There's nothing comes to mind when I think about that. Whereas, like Gears 4, for example, like you asked why that was number 5. That's where I get to like with that, where it's like, you know what, the story was okay. The rest was great, but the story was okay. It's just good or great across the board.
Yeah, no, yeah, that is such a god dang. I can't wait for whatever Respawn's doing next. I think they're actually doing Star Wars next, which it's like, oh my god, I don't even know what that means.
Something crazy.
Yeah. All right. So okay, now I this was actually I know what your number 1 is. All right. I don't want to announce
As
it
you
for
should.
you.
As
But
you should, because it's one of the best games of all time. And you didn't even bother playing it.
wait, I played it.
I thought you only played like the first hour.
No, I played the whole thing.
Oh, I thought you only played like the first hour.
No, I just don't like it.
Oh god.
No, I'm not honest. I won't be too mean.
This game is phenomenal in every single possible way. Just I think the story alone seals it, and the
Mhm.
fact of just going from where you are at the beginning and just the way this game opens up of just you have this like mundane life, and it's so weird to see Nathan Drake as just I just go dive in the ocean and pick trash up off the ground,
Mhm.
to going back into this, and just the way that they've developed that character and the way that they develop the relationships with the other characters in there is so perfectly done.
Mhm.
Just the scene where you're in your house, like eating dinner, and it's the argument about who should do dishes is like in my mind. I'm as you're playing it, it's just like that's literally what happens on like a daily basis, and it hits that relationship so
Mhm.
perfectly. And because it's built up over the first three, when you get to that point, it feels earned. It's not like in a game where it's just like, oh, I'm half hour into the game and oh yeah, yep, those characters are just talking. It's like, no, I know the backstory between those characters. I know what's happening, and
Mhm.
Naughty Dog chose to go in just such a good direction with that, that it's perfect. And there's, kind of the moment where you kind of subtly lie to your wife, and it's like, oh god, like the whole time you're just like cringing, like, oh, don't do that. And just
Yeah.
everything about the story in this game is perfect. I love every moment of this game. I love, and
Mhm.
it's gorgeous. One of the prettiest games I've ever seen. Just some of the times, like just pausing and like standing on top of a mountain and just looking out over like the scenery that's there, and it looks like it's drawn so far out and so well. It's just, oh, it's so good.
No, actually, I can actually appreciate. I do really like those aspects of the game. Especially like you're saying, like the moments where it's just two characters talking. Like they spend a lot of time of you not shooting things, like just throughout that
Yeah,
game. That I really love, and I really like that pacing because I think it's really crazy, even for an Uncharted game that does have a lot of character moments. Like there's some long chapters where you don't, but they're still really engrossing. Where you don't shoot anything, like the one where you play as a younger Drake. Is
yeah,
very engrossing. I can really appreciate that. I think they took the characters in some ways I just wasn't expecting. And side note, like you're talking about the graphics, like I just got like a super PC, like nothing looks better than Uncharted 4. There's nothing,
exactly,
nothing.
exactly. It's so good, and yeah, it's so good. There's nothing else you can say about it.
Yeah, I think that I can absolutely appreciate that idea. Yeah, that's a well made game. I'm not gonna disagree with that.
For sure.
Really pretty, man. That story does definitely goes in some place I was not expecting. I did like that
Yeah,
aspect a lot.
yeah. And I mean, and yeah, and I know like because I already know like your reasons why this isn't a great game is the gameplay. Like it is just Uncharted gameplay, and
Mhm.
it does get that, not mundane, but it just gets that like, okay, I'm just getting from point A to point B on some of these climbing and things like that. And
Mhm.
that's true, but again, like there's something to be said about, okay, I can look around and this whole world is amazing, and
Yeah.
some of the set pieces in it are just super well made, and some of the more open world parts where you're driving around in the Jeep and everything, you just kind of can explore this world a little bit more. It really, I think, expands on what 1, 2, and 3 did in a really, really good way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of the few games I've played, like sequel wise, that doesn't just expand on gameplay, but really expands on characters as well. Because I feel like you don't really see that in most, and I think most sequels you see, I think you see actually a dip in characters and then like an
Yes.
expanse in game design. While this one
Yes.
is like this went like it is the best Uncharted game for sure, and it's definitely the best story. It's got the best characters in any of the Uncharted games, so it is cool and a very satisfying conclusion I think to that series.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that was I guess that was just kind of the first part of our Game of the Year awards. I don't know. How did you feel about 2016 overall?
I'm not really sure. It was okay.
Just talked about the most
Well, like,
perfect game ever made.
no, but here's my thing with this. So, as I was doing this, like, Uncharted 4 and Titanfall 2 stood out in my mind as those two are great games. Those are games
Yeah.
that I really, really loved every part of. And then I kind of got into this thing of like, okay, well, what other games are that good? Like, in my mind, that's kind
Hmm.
of where I was at. Was like, okay, well, Ratchet and Clank was great. Doom is great. Gears 4 is great. And then I was kind of like, again, I got into this thing of like, there were some other good ones out there, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
um, and I did think about No Man's Sky for a long time because I put a whole bunch of time into that. But it was
Oh
one of those
yeah,
things where it's
yeah.
like, I that if you listen to our last Guardian review, it's kind of like that, where it's like it's good, but it's annoyingly good. Like there's parts that are just so annoying that I couldn't do it. But I don't
Hmm.
know. I felt like there were those two great games in my mind, and again, there were a couple that I hadn't played, and then there's three or four that didn't stand out. It was weird to me because these are all like super AAA games, which is normally not my thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. I
three
mean,
shooters and
surprisingly,
an
like some of the
Uncharted
games that,
game and a rat.
yeah, surprisingly, one of the games I thought that we had talked about this beforehand, but I don't think people know on the podcast. Like, you really loved Limbo, and you played Inside, and that didn't really strike a chord with you compared
No, I
to
did not like Inside at all.
you. What?
I did not like Inside at all.
That yeah, that blows my mind. That's so weird to me because that's definitely a game I think that you would absolutely love. Um,
Which is so weird because Limbo is amazing, but Inside is whatever.
yeah, no, I don't know. I think people are. I think a lot of people are kind of down on AAA games, and I think there are certain studios you can be down on AAA games about, but like some of the ones that stand out are just like wow. It's like AAA is like everything that is amazing and terrible about games. And but like when they do it right, like Uncharted and on Titanfall, then it's just magical.
If only people could see the hand motions, that would have been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. No, I think no, because there's games I definitely like more than those, but I don't think you would because I really loved Hitman. I really love The Witness, but they're games I know you wouldn't like.
No, no, no,
So
no,
yeah,
no, no, no,
I
no.
yeah I don't think there's any like big holes in like what you did or didn't play though. Especially of games like in genres you like. So I don't know. I'm curious. I'm really curious, like, because when we do our joint game of the year, we'll be talking about some other stuff as well. We'll do some other kind of minor, not awards. We're not big enough to have awards. But we'll be talking we'll be talking about some other games as well. I'll probably be giving my top five, so you guys can, and then so everyone can look forward to our joint game of the year, and then also my top five. Um, yeah. So no, that was a good list. It's a good list. Those are some good games.
Yes, indeed.
So if you guys like what you heard, we are Workforce Gaming. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at Workforce Gaming. Leave comments. We'll comment back. We like doing that. Yeah. See you guys next week.
Bye.